Even when I used to work out all the time, when I used to work out, when I used to work out.
I remember protein powder? Yeah, I used to have it. When I used to work out, I used to take protein powders.
I myself, I jerk off at least twice a day. Wow. Once in the morning, right after I work out, and then once right after lunch.
I want to get this out before Snort's intro. Today is technically a triple feature, but it's 2 4-minute clips and 1 1-minute clip I'm reacting to, so I'm only going to throw one of the intros in. However, that being said, big ups to that being said, this is from SnortHogan, and he deserves the biggest of ups. Go check his page out, because I don't comment on everything he throws online. Now, let's go.
Well, let me tell you something, brother! Snort, 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 Hogan, drip, snort, snort. I got the drip, go.
Did I hear that Wings quit the LolCow podcast because Keem was giving his trolls a platform? Someone had mentioned that a week or two ago on here that he was quitting the podcast. That's the extent of it that I know. I've literally never listened to a second of the podcast, don't know anything about the podcast, don't care about the podcast, don't want to listen to the podcast. The only reason I know about it is because you guys came on here and said, are you aware that like entire episodes of the podcast are about you? And I'm like, no, I don't know why they would be. I'm not part of the show. I never agreed to be part of the show. I never even had a discussion about the show with anyone. I don't care about the show. I'm not going to talk about the show.
So the question was, did you hear that Wings left the show because it was giving his trolls a platform? Phil starts out okay by answering that someone had told him that, but then breaks from the question to make the whole thing about himself. This could have been a great time to express sympathy for Wings, or even disdain for him because he went on the podcast, but that would involve talking about somebody other than DSP, and we can't have that, dude. So instead, we get to hear about how DSP doesn't care. He doesn't care, and that's why we have 20 seconds of him talking about not caring about the show after his initial claim that he doesn't care. It's mesmerizing to me how bad Phil can be at avoiding looking like an insecure twat, because it's like 100% natural to him. And most people that are this unlikable are a persona, and they have to work at it, but not Phil.
I think, again, with a show like that, what they want to do is they want to talk shit to goad someone into talking about it, so now they have something to talk about on their show. Because they need to feed off of others to have a show, because without feeding off the drama of others, they have no show.
Quote, they want to talk shit to goad someone into talking about it, end quote, says Phil, as he talks about the LolCow podcast, thereby giving them material to use for their podcast, thus perpetuating the cycle that is, you know what, no, this one is too obvious, and I've already given enough hints with that last line. If Phil can't figure out what's staring right in front of him, he deserves the consequences.
Because that's what happens with these drama circles. These people have no talent. So they need to goad other people into reactions so that they can then react to their reactions, because that's how they make content. It's not like, oh, we have a show with all these interesting set topics today that we're going to cover. It's just nonsensical drama, right? So, yeah, like, I don't care about the show at all. I never did. People outright told me, are you aware that on the show, they're not only doing entire segments about you, but they're all saying things like, Phil, we know you're listening. And I was like, no, I'm not listening. I've not heard a second of it. The only thing I hear is secondhand from people in my chat or one of my fans telling me on the back end, you know, are you aware that there's entire hateful segments or entire shows about you? I'm like, no, I don't give a fuck, right? I don't give a shit enough about the people on that show to watch or listen to it.
So these people have no talent, yet with a failing show managed to get, let me check right quick. Yeah. Last video, 27k views. Previous one, 41k. Next previous, 36k. All averaging anywhere between 30 and 40k views. Like, you may not like them, but someone over there has to have some level of talent, Phil, because while you might not like it, success is absolutely measured by all, including you. For evidence of this, see any of your 300 viewer rants on Tekken, but it's measured by dollars, and views equals dollars, Phil. And even if you aren't watching their podcast, your denial of watching it is what they want, Phil. They want you to say shit like, I don't care, and comment on it. Hell, maybe this is why you continue to act the way you do, because you're successfully baiting me into making videos about you, because you're a sadomasochist or something. But anyway, you flexing that you don't care or don't watch, that's money in their pocket, Phil. As the old meme goes,
Congratulations, you played yourself.
To watch or listen to the show, I'd have to care about the people on it. I don't. So, I don't waste my time in stuff I don't care about, I'm not going to watch content from things that don't interest me. LolCow culture does not fucking interest me in the least. So, I don't care who's on the show. You know what I mean? The thing that got me is I made that abundantly clear. And then you got someone like Turkey Tom who made a documentary about me. And then he tried to say he wanted to just like interview me. And I'm like, I'll consider it. And I asked you guys, and you guys abundantly told me, no, don't do it. So I didn't do it. And then he literally said in a video, oh, darn, now I can't milk Phil anymore. I guess I'm done milking him. And I was thinking in my head, these people actually think it's healthy to say that they want to milk other people. Like, they think that's normal behavior. Oh, I just milked someone today for toxic content so I can make money. It's like, do you not understand how fucked that is? How immoral that is? How dangerous that is? I can't believe people sleep at night doing that, except that I understand there's a lot of people on this planet who have no conscience.
LolCow culture should absolutely concern you, Phil. You are King LolCow and Emperor of the culture at the moment. But let's talk about the bigger issue here. First, the fact Turkey Tom wanted to interview you and you said no, that should have been it, Phil. If you really didn't care, you just keep on doing you and never bring it up again. Ever. But not only do you bring it up, you chastise Turkey Tom for a concept which you yourself are successfully executing. Every time you have the smallest of speed bumps in life, which could all be avoided if you stopped playing WWE champions, you fucking parasite, but you call out to your crowd like the king in Shrek, I am in need of your money, and yes, some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. You're pulling hundreds of thousands of dollars from people with mental handicaps, disability checks, and blatant racists, although you can waste a racist's money and I'm not going to complain. Although it does kind of say something about you, Phil. But you take money from people who actually need it because you're milking them. And then you have the audacity to stand high and mighty about your ethics. I swear, the more I do these videos, the more I need a rage room.
They don't care who they hurt as long as they make money. So, and that's what I mean. Like, that's the kind of people who are involved with that show. Who the fuck wants to be involved with a show that says, we're a bunch of LolCow farmers who milk you for content? Are you out of your fucking mind? That's the most disgusting, toxic thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't want to touch that with a bazillion-foot pole. That, you know what I mean? I don't care how much money you're going to pay me. You're out of your fucking mind. You'd have to be a dumbass to be involved with that in any capacity. Whether you're a LolCow or a farmer or whoever, you'd have to actually have low mental capacity to be involved in that content in any way, including making it or watching and listening to it. You have to be an idiot. And I'm not an idiot. So that's why I have nothing to do with it. That kind of content, it's very simple. It's the immoral milking the dumb. That's exactly what it is. Immoral people who don't give a shit how they make their money, milking stupid people of their money. It's trash and I don't deal with that shit.
What do you think business is for, Phil? Very few businesses make the world a better place. Most of the time, organizations like that are called charities. Business is for making money. And Wings, Boogie, and the other guy I can't be bothered to learn the name of aren't being forced to do the show. They're big boys, Phil. They can make decisions for themselves. So you're pearl clutching about a podcast full of people that can leave anytime they want. Now, to your, you'd have to have low mental capacity to be involved in that in any way, I'm afraid I'm going to need a source here, Phil, or at least a logical tapestry, as you call it. You're going to have to explain to me how being a part of that podcast is an indicator of intelligence from a scholastic or even a street smarts level. And I'm all ears for this, because they're making money. They're obviously okay with what they're doing until, Wings quit, and they aren't begging people for money like the wholly vile and repulsive business practice you have. So maybe stop telling people about the dirt they have on their shirt when you're covered in pig shit. Oh, and to your comment of, I'm not an idiot, yes, you are. Hard stop. But your last comment, oh man, the quote, immoral people milking stupid people of their money, end quote. You'll probably never see this video, Phil, but if you do, I want you to go look at pictures of Kevin. You know exactly who I mean. Or Derek. Or, I want to leave Jade out of this because he's got a heart of gold. And I hate you for what you do to him, Phil. But look at their mental capacity. Then, line by line, look at what you spend your money on. We all know what it is, but I'm not going to say it again. Then, re-listen to this segment where you call out the LolCow podcast for being a business which is made up of immoral people milking stupid people for their money. Then, have the life you fucking deserve. Okay, on that wholly not depressing note, That was clip 1, double feature activated. The next clip is on the topic of sexy time with cat. Oh god, no.
So who should I tell to get out of the party now? Lae'zel just temporarily?
Greeting.
Wait, what? Continue? What the fuck?
I have a confession.
What was that?
I was too hasty to judge you. I thought you witless, gutless, unimpressively bland.
I think the game glitched. And I thought you cruel, stubborn, and judgmental.
Yes, all that is true.
It's covered in blood.
I am cold as the sea of night. But you have stoked fires I didn't know I possessed. I swear, you would tear the horns off one dragon for plunging into another. You've gained my respect.
Okay.
And more still, my yearning. When I come near, your odor alone is enough to make my neck sweat and my
This is so
hair
creepy.
stand on end.
Why are you such a prickly grouch? Let's say that. Why are you such a prickly grouch?
If you must know, Vlaakith requires everything of her children. I can't count how many bruises I've inflicted. Can't measure how much blood I've drawn in the undying queen's name. I know only blood red and death black. My mind is silver, and my body steel. I am what I must be. Say what I must be. To survive every beast I face and every wound I bear.
Why is it that I never have blood on me, but she's covered in blood?
Enough talk. I will be plain. I want to taste you. Perhaps tonight. Perhaps later.
It's like,
But I want it all the same.
why is she so fucking
Do
weird?
you?
Who wrote this dialogue? Who wrote this fucking dialogue? This is written by like a fucking 15-year-old. No.
Your loss, I fear.
No.
I'm so lost here. I'm playing Baldur's Gate slower than Phil, so I'm not to this point yet, but I've already had a few cutscenes where romance is starting. Why is this such an issue? I'm gonna call out a that being said bro on this one. Someone get Steve of the Dead on this. Since he's a forensic psychologist, I really want to know from him what is going on in Phil's head to make this such an enormous deal. He's 41, for Christ's sake. At this point, he's either need to have been laid enough for all of this to be a moot point, or watched enough depraved porn for this to be tame, because acting like you're 12 when a romance scene hits is just, it's creepy. Like, the Boy Scout leader is a little too eager for camp creepy.
One day soon, you will wonder how my lips might have tasted, how my fingers on your skin might have felt.
No.
And you will wish you could return.
This is the problem. The dialogue's terrible. Like, you really think that's how she would have reacted? Oh well, just immediately she's like, oh well, I give up. Right? No. The dialogue is bad. I'm sorry, like, that kind of dialogue is so bad. It doesn't feel organic or real. It just feels like some fucking horny nerd wrote that scene because they wanted to have fan service for people who are also horny nerds. Hey, get a better writer to write those scenes and maybe someone will be interested. I don't want to see what a horny nerd thinks of this relationship. Sorry. Sorry. Anyway, let's continue, shall we? Alright. Let's have our full rest here.
What does he want from the writers? What does he expect? It's a game. A fucking game, Filbert. It's not real. And even if it is fan service, okay, who cares? So it's not for you. Choose an option and move forward. The longer you ack at it and chastise the writer, the creepier you look. It's like someone standing up in an AA meeting, proclaiming themselves to be the most bestest AA member ever, and they go out of their way to tell people. Like, they're at a party and a Bud Light commercial comes on the TV, and they run out of the room or change the channel, not because they're trying to avoid temptation, but because they vocally shout, "This is so stupid, TV is not for beer, you can't drink beer out of a TV, who the fuck makes these commercials?" If that were to happen, Phil, if such a person existed, do you know who would be surprised to learn that that person still chugs booze on the daily? Fucking no one.
Someone just said I'm a nerd, or excuse me, I'm a prude. No, I'm not a prude. I'm just not a horny nerd. You understand? Like, I actually get laid by my wife. I don't need to have horny nerd fake romance in this game. You get it? So there you go. Oh, look, Scratch has something for me.
You're not a horny nerd and you get laid by your wife. I've been with my girlfriend for a long time now. Not as long as Phil and Kat, but I don't get laid from my girlfriend. We have sex. Or fuck. I don't know, maybe I'm off base, but I don't know any other 41-year-old who says he got laid from his wife. Oh, and to your claim of you're not a horny nerd, this is the whole bit. To my audio style listeners, it's just a giant X to doubt button. And that'll make 2 clips. Now for the short clip of Phil begging. Wow. Short clip and begging. Never thought those would go in a sentence about Phil.
And just being very honest here, last month I lost out on a ton of income because of troll activities. These memberships which the trolls gave away for free that should not have been given away for free like that, and I got nothing for it. Okay? A lot of people now have free memberships, and obviously because of that haven't paid for their membership, and I lost out on a lot of income as a result.
And there was much rejoicing.
This Saturday, if you come by the Super Bowl Bash and support the stream, that would help a lot to get me back to the level I should be at. Notably, tips would make a lot of sense because tips I get right now, and what's going to happen is this month when I get paid by YouTube, it's going to be way less than what I usually make, and that's going to hurt me when it comes to things like paying bills.
I almost did much rejoicing again, but I'm trying to keep that rare. Anyway, I mentioned this in my last video. I want to make sure this hits home. Phil made over $1,000 more in tips this year than he did last year. He claims he was down about 400 members, which the revenue prior to taxes comes out to around $1,000. So where'd the money go, Phil? Why can't you survive on greater than 6,000 pre-tax dollars? It actually doesn't matter. Anything you say is invalid unless it's mandated by law. Like taxes, okay. Mortgage, okay. Car payment, better be a fucking old car, Phil. Food, fine. Dining out, fuck you. Movies, fuck you. Entertainment of any kind, fuck you. You owe the government for your fun times back when you were an even greater piece of shit than you are now. You are entitled to nothing of fun from your donators of money, especially when you're getting paid as much as you are. Oh, and if you can't afford your bills...
Don't care, didn't ask, cry about it, stay mad, get real, L-mold, seed cope.
So tips would be great because I could use those right away this month to pay the bills and fill in the gaps for the way less income I'm going to get as a result of this malicious activity against me and the channel. Alright? So...
Reminder to Phil, you are not a victim. Your circumstances are a product of your own actions. You are, in fact, a parasite who survives off sucking the lifeblood out from people with mental disabilities. The consequences you deserve would get me booted off YouTube for even speaking them. But that'll do it for this triple, well, really a double with a clip tagged on, feature. Enormous ups to SnortHogan for all the clips, all of which are linked in the description. I appreciate you, man. Big ups to subs, viewers, anyone who likes, shares, and comments. It really does help the algorithm like me, I think. And of course, last but certainly not least are my members. I cannot thank you enough. Y'all are just the best. Till next time, swole is the goal for a troll. Lift heavy, eat clean. You know, I'm even more pissed at Phil because when he said he got laid by his wife, I drew a mental picture that I can't fucking unsee.